There is a fifth dimension.
A dimension of sound.
Damn it, Frank! We tell him to be quiet. I spilled my hot cup of Uranus again.
A dimension of sight.
Hey, Arch. I'm gonna sock you in the puss.
A dimension of mind.
Man, Adams, is that you?
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fifth Dimension of Twilight Zone podcast. I am your host, Dick, as usual. We're back for another week of the Twilight Zone, Rod Serling's famous epic series of proportions, whatever you want to call it. As always, we are on Audio Boom and, of course, not Audio Boom, Anchor and iTunes and Google Play and Amazon Music. It's go there if you want to listen to us talk and give ASMR science. It's already started.
Yay!
But yeah, if you want to listen to us and go, that type of thing, you can reach us there. But anyways, we're here to talk an episode that I may not like. I don't know. We'll talk about it for various reasons. But like I said, I am Nick.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're here to talk an episode that you can kind of tell is going to go way sideways. But first I want to introduce my my drunk high co-host, I guess you could say. The first one, of course, is the Bevis of the group and ganja headed dictator, and of course is Trip from Trivial Theater. I had to put that in there. That was an amazing reference, or however it was that came from that movie. But what's going on, Trip?
Oh, not doing too bad. I'm glad I haven't been sucked into a bong where there's a bunch of strippers.
Yeah, so she's referring to the video she just posted with who was it, Ashley from Movie Oracle.
Yep.
So
I was on the evil bong. So
yeah.
Let me know how that happens. I'd be more than happy to be sucked into a bong with a bunch of strippers.
I mean, more power to you. It's just not my thing.
Sure, you guys can figure something out.
I mean, I'm sure it's just not really my
Male strippers.
Yes, if they were male strippers, it'd be a different story.
There you go.
I would buy a round of drinks for female strippers. It'd be like, hey, keep up the good work. But
yeah,
her favorite sketch is actually the Chippendales from SNL with
oh hell yeah,
Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze. But anyways, the other person that is part of the group that is the Fifth Dimension is the butthead of the group, who will hiccup the entirety of the Batman for a nickel. And that, of course, is Jacob of Jacob Anders Reviews. What's up, Jacob? You get those hiccups under control?
I'm doing pretty good today. I'm really looking forward to this episode. I feel like it's going to be a great episode. Cornelio!
Doing good. How about you guys? Welcome to the podcast.
We know now what sets off Triv. It's weird, crazy, strange, perverted things.
Perverted things.
Dude, I look up and all
Horses.
of a sudden oh my god. Anyway, moving on.
It's our fourth guest for the week.
Yeah, exactly. What about Jeff? You're not counting Jeff.
Jeff's just a fixture here.
Oh, that's not nice.
He's just always here. He's not a guest. Jeff is the show.
Yeah,
I
true.
know. He's as important as Nan Adams. I'm telling you what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's the only thing that can stave her off.
Exactly.
Well, and this is one of the random trivia pieces for this week was that in the open, this is one of 4 episodes that features a blinking eye. They went with the blinking eye, but then they're like, no, this isn't good. And then they went with Jeff, and then that's what they stuck to.
Yeah,
Which is good because he's better.
it's because it's Jeff.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
The motherfucking Jeff, bitch.
We love you, Jeff.
Yeah, man. So yeah, once again, thanks to Rob Dodrell for coming on. He definitely made the episode interesting with his Rod Serling Funko that he made. So
Yeah.
He was so insightful too. Like super cool guy.
Yeah, he's a
Great
good
channel
guy.
too. Check out his Mentos.
Oh yeah.
His Mentos hallway scene cut is pretty epic.
Yeah, it was. Anyways, this episode this week, I haven't felt like this. I have not felt like this since a certain episode with certain gambling machines and
Oh, come on.
2 feet to fall. You may
So
or may not
you need
expect that. I don't
more
like this episode.
cowbell because you got a fever.
I feel like he may be threatening this episode.
I know. I think.
Are
he
you
is.
threatening me?
Oh my god.
You bastard.
I'm just gonna call him James through the entire episode.
It's James W. Beavis or BW Beavis. Yeah.
So, anyways, we're talking about season 1, episode 33, which of course is Mr. Beavis.
Beavis.
Yeah.
Does he need TP for his bunghole?
I don't know. But it's directed by William Asher, written by Rod Serling, production code 1733631, premiered on June 3rd, 1960. And it's an episode that was originally supposed to be a pilot for a TV series that somehow didn't work. But this episode stars Orson Bean as James B.W. Bevis. Henry Jones as J. Hardy Hempstead. Charles Lane as Mr. Peckinpah. Florence MacMichael as Margaret, and William Schallert as policeman. So let's talk about this episode. I knew this was coming. I knew this. We've been playing this or they've been playing this for weeks. So
we've been looking for this for so long.
Oh man.
So long.
Oh, man. One interesting thing on the failed TV pilot thing, it was supposed to be with Burgess Meredith originally, but he said fuck no to being Beavis. He preferred being Butthead.
Yeah,
I'm sure that pilot would have been better with Beavis and Butthead. Can you imagine? Mr. Peckinpah is Beavis and Peckinpah is Butthead and Orson Bean is Beavis. So, anyways, this episode is considered probably one of the weaker Twilight Zone episodes in its run. A lot of people don't agree, but I don't really want to like this episode. I don't want to talk about this episode.
Well, you're gonna have to talk about this episode. Otherwise, we're gonna say that you'd never scored.
Next thing you're gonna set me on fire.
Fire.
Okay, so anyways, this episode actually, Jacob, you mentioned that you actually partly remember this episode. Is that true?
Yeah, vaguely. I mean, as I was watching it, I remember the name, of course. Let's be real, it sticks out. But the actual episode as it started, I was like, I don't remember everything that happened as it went along. I didn't remember what was happening, but as it was happening, I was like, yeah, I remember watching this. I remember seeing this episode. It was one of those.
And Trev, you remember this episode pretty well?
Yeah, decently. I mean, it showed up on a lot of marathons, I think, and I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where like you watch it and it's like, in passing, it is what it is. But in looking at it critically, you definitely see a little bit more and less to it. So,
I mean, you got Orson Bean, who's a pretty famous actor, was of course in Being John Malkovich, which is an amazing. He was like amazing in that movie, and then of course Interspace with him and William Schallert were in Interspace, which is a great movie.
Yes,
very good.
With of course, didn't we talk about him? What's his name?
We were talking about
his brother.
The episode where the guy. Yeah. Well, no, we were talking about Interspace with the episode with what was his name, where the guy was like really old and he was going to marry the girl. Jenkins, I don't remember.
Yeah, William, he stopped aging. William Jenkins or Walter Jenkins. Walter Jenkins.
Yeah, he was the bad guy in that episode.
Actually, he and William Schallert were in that the Twilight Zone movie episode.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
A lot of fucking Interspace and Twilight Zone people in this.
I need to go back and watch the Twilight Zone movie. It's been a hot minute.
I feel as if we will.
I think we should. We should do it as a Patreon. If I ever figure out Patreon. Help me.
I mean, you got someone below me that does, do Patreon.
Someone below you?
That does Patreon.
Yes.
As long as you got someone below you.
Yes, I do.
I'm a bottom.
Yeah. And that's where you're gonna stay, bitch.
Oh man.
Spank me.
Yes, sir.
Beavis.
I do like it.
So
spicy.
Yeah. Well,
So as
you
you can
pull
see-
out that Cornholio shirt. How else am I supposed to be?
Oh.
Or I mean, you pull out a good-looking polo like that, and I mean,
as you can tell, it's late at night, people. We just want to do Beavis and Butthead jokes. We don't really want to talk about this
It's
episode.
like 8
I
o'clock in the
want to
morning.
talk about this goddamn movie or the goddamn show. So let's get on with it because it's fascinating. And
so-
screw you.
It is not good.
Not literally.
episode. I mean, you are
Dude.
Jacob. You keep
I think we might have that episode he's been looking forward to.
shit.
Put him up.
I mean, I could
start
him
bad-
up.
I could start bad talking monsters or do on Maple Street if you like.
Hey, do we have a fight?
Come on, bring it on, bitch.
The
Could
fifth
take you
dimension
and-
is crumbling before our eyes. It only took Beavis and Butthead to do it.
Well, I mean, it is
so-
one of those things, it divides
Yeah.
families.
I know, right? So this episode is all about a man who has the worst luck in the world, is given a chance to have the best luck in the world. And Jacob, isn't there a famous quote or famous picture that explains Mr. Beavis, guy that really hated having all of the luck in the world? I seem to remember this one.
A famous picture.
Yeah, Triv, do you know this one?
This one.
Mr. Beavis is like, nope, I do not like it.
No, I disagree with you on the overall message of this. I really, truly do.
I know.
I understand that
I'm
it's
stalling,
open.
but
No, I understand. I know that it's open to interpretation on quite a few levels, depending upon how you look at it. But yeah, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I just don't necessarily agree with you.
right, yeah. No, I'm really just joking and stalling, but
Are you?
this
Are
yes,
you?
I am.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, this episode opens up on the same street apparently where everybody dies. Everybody seems to have died because it seems like the same street is used over and over. But we get that really weird music that opens up and kids playing in the street. They're getting free fruit apparently by the guy that just walks around going banana. He's apparently in a Minions movie.
Banana. Actually, that's
Banana.
some kind of fun stuff. The skyline backdrop in Beavis's office is the same as a stop at Willoughby. And then the office door that he walks out of with his box of possessions is the same door used for the talent agency in Some Like It Hot.
Interesting.
Yeah,
The more you know.
exactly. And then there's a
So-
Ben-Hur thing too, but I'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
The
that.
chariot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mhm. So, anyways, we're introduced to Mr. Beavis, who has a probably the biggest hoarder of the 60s. All that shit he has all around his room, and it's like a disheveled mess. This guy is like, I think he deserves bad luck apparently because he's
Oh,
just
for
like shit
God's
everywhere.
sake.
Just
You know what I
everywhere.
will say? Like, I wrote down that Beavis
like a
is the living
16-year-old kid.
equivalent. True. I wrote down that he's the he's living in the equivalent of antlers because there's so many antlers all over the place.
I said he was the original Pee Wee Herman.
That too.
Like this guy when he like sliding down the rail and
Mhm.
how he's just going around in his house with all the toys and everything. He is like the OG toned down Pee Wee.
What do you think was playing in that movie theater before Ben-Hur?
Big top Pee Wee?
Yeah. Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Large Marge in charge on a barge.
So yes, we're introduced to Mr. Beavis, and Mr. Beavis played by Orson Bean. He's what you would call a hippie. I think he's very carefree. He doesn't really have much luck, but he seems to be a guy that has everybody loves him. The people in the apartment complex that he lives in. Apparently, the dog is just this random dog that just kind of wanders up to him, and then of course the high attractive woman that walks by, he's like, "Hi, Mr. Beavis." He's a guy that doesn't see the warning or see the signs, of like hot chick in the apartment trying to mac on him, and he's just like walking by, and who knows, but
Oh yeah, hot chick. Oh yeah.
but during this segment of him being introduced, we get this would you say, Jacob, a 45 page dissertation from Rod Serling about who Mr. Beavis is?
Yes, we get the whole script.
So I'll let you read the whole thing, or if you want to split up in parts, we can do that. Whatever
No,
whatever floats your boat.
Just gonna do the whole damn thing. Let's try and make this entertaining. All right, here we go. In the parlance of the 20th century, this is an oddball. His name is James B.W. Beavis, and his taste lean towards stuffed animals, Zephyr music, professional football, Charles Dickens, moose heads, carnivals, wild dogs, children and young ladies. Ladies. Mr. Beavis is accident prone, a little vague, and a little discombobulated, with a life that possesses all the security and floating crap game. But this can be said of our Mr. Beavis. Without him, without a warmth, without his kindness, the world would be a considerably poorer place. I'll bet perhaps a little saner. Should not be obvious by now. James B.W. Beavis is a fixture in his own private, optimistic, hopeful little world. A world which has long ceased being surprised by him. James B.W. Beavis, on whom Dame Fortune will shortly turn her back, but not before she gives him a paste in the mouth. Give me something in the mouth. Mr. James B.W. Beavis, just one block away from the Twilight Zone. See, Beavis wouldn't usually use these words. So it came off as a little odd.
A little bit.
It worked for what it's worth.
But I did what I could.
Yes, you did. Proud of you. You know, I think if Rod Serling and Beavis had a kid, it would be you.
Beavis.
Good.
This may have been better like with Butthead. They would not use words like this. It just doesn't work.
So anyways, Mr. Beavis, a very clumsy individual, as we see. He walks out the door, pets the doggy, sees a high attractive chick, then decides he's gonna run his body down the rails. Apparently he can be bought by a kid because the kid's like, "Do it, Mr. Beavis, do it, Mr. Beavis," and so he rolls
Why
down
not,
the
Mr.
rails.
Beavis?
He rolls down the rails right outside the door. It's like the greatest way to exit a building.
Oh, absolutely. And I thought at this point that there's a lot of like, I don't know if Jerry Lewis was inspired the performance, but I kind of got that. Like there's a lot of slapstick and kind of physical comedy.
Yeah. This was very, as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, this is that kind of episode.
Yeah, exactly. It's got like it feels overall very much like a Lucy, like an I Love Lucy episode. Like just like that.
I was just waiting for the wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have a lexicon word. I have a lexicon word for us.
No excuses.
Our lexicon word is discombobulated.
Boop, boop. Yeah, boop. Yeah, we like boop. Yeah.
Discombobulated.
Yep.
Discombobulated.
See, and I was trying to figure out, was that like an on purpose thing?
No, it is. Everything Rod Serling does is on purpose. There's no non-purpose, unpurpose.
Because there was a few other things later on. Like, so there was the whole back and forth, like them versus those and whom versus who.
Discombobulated.
Yeah, there was a couple others too in there though. Like the way that words were spoken was slightly off. So I'm thinking it was meant to be goofy.
Completely out of adjustment, in a state of disarray or malfunction, not normal.
As boob, not Bob. Oh, so it's an actual. So discombobulated is actually a word.
Yes, but not in our lexicon. It isn't, unless you guys have another lexicon word.
No.
Beavis would approve. Beavis would approve. Discombobulated.
Nick likes boobs.
Speaking of two boobs, I got two boobs right here.
I like to put my breast foot forward.
Go to
Okay.
Anyways,
so Mr. Beavis is going to work. He has a jalopy. I like how it says actually calls it a jalopy.
That's
in
awesome.
Wikipedia. But it's a 1924 Rickenbacker, which Rickenbacker, of course, is named after Eddie Rickenbacker, who was a World War One. Yeah, famous World War One pilot, or whatever. He was in the military, and basically he has like a bunch of smoke coming out of his car. Like this is the smokiest vehicle since Cheech and Chong, and he goes to his place of business with the guy who runs or at least the manager, who's named Peckinpah, which I kept thinking about Sam Peckinpah, the director, who's directed like Dog Day, or not Dog Day,
Spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
Sierra Leone
and the one with what's Dustin Hoffman, the one with the rape movie. What the fuck is that movie called?
Marathon Man.
Straw Dogs.
Yeah, Straw Dogs. Oh, the Marathon Man. That's
one piece he missed was how like the car wouldn't start, or they couldn't get it running. So all the kids like helped it get a running start.
Yes, I wrote that. I actually wrote that. Where is it? Mr. Beavis gets in his car, but he uses child forced labor to help get his car going.
He's got child power instead of horsepower.
He's like, come on, kids, help me move my car. You get no money, blah, blah, blah. Do it tomorrow as well. That type of thing.
He buys some shit otherwise.
He was out there playing ball. He was throwing the old pigskin with him.
He gets free fruit. It's a good life, except he's going to be not having a good life later on when he takes five fingers of whatever it is. But
what
he five
each one of those each one of those is 5 fingers.
That's true. Yeah, I guess was it like this?
Yeah.
Anyways, I actually like the character Mr. Beavis. I don't really like the episode. I like the idea of this guy who is his own thing. He is his own person, a guy that loves free will, the whole idea of like stuff on his desk of animals and fucking, all kinds of cool shit. The Vitrola, was it the Vitrola he was playing?
No, it's is it Zeffirини music?
Yeah.
But I thought, I think it's kind of a glorified calliope, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just kept saying Zephyr music. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I think
it's the music playing at the beginning of the episode, actually.
Zither music is defined as a class of stringed instruments. Historically, the name is applied to any instrument consists of many strings stretched across a flat, thin body. It's often done by plucking or strumming. So like a mandolin, a harp, a sitar.
So anyways, so Mr. Peckinpah is asking for Mr. Beavis, and he brings, he's like, get his ass in here when he comes up, and all these nice ladies are up there, clicking along on their accounting typewriters or whatever they are, counting machines. And of course, Mr. Beavis walks in, and he's getting like everybody loves him, everybody talks to him. It just seems like a guy that just has a shit day, and it kind of works out that way. And it's he gets to his desk, and he's like, oh, look at my little squirrel, and the thing I won was a ship, and all that good stuff. And in essence, he is called into the office where he is fired by Mr. Peckinpah. And I love the idea of all the ladies just stop typing on their accounting machines. They just kind of
that editing there is so cheeky, and just like like it goes to his face, like he's got the big creepy smile on his picture. I love the editing of this part. It is just so cheeky.
I know, right?
It shows the picture and then comes down to him, and he's like,
yep, exactly.
Did you guys notice that it took him 15 minutes to fire that poor man? I don't know if you've ever fired anybody. I've fired a few people in my life, quite a few people. I never took 15 minutes to fire somebody. I mean, it's usually a pretty quick process, because who the fuck wants to sit there for 15 minutes and like be berated before they get laid off on a job? Because that's what he was doing. He was just like bitching this guy out, and then he's like, in the end, now get the fuck out of here. It's like, damn.
Usually when you bitch that long, you're just you're berating them and giving them a warning or something like that. He fucking fires them and stuff. So
it's like,
and the one dude like brought the box like right over to him.
Yeah. And then when he comes over, you want me to help you put all the stuff in a box, Mr. Beavis?
Yeah, baby. Box.
But basically, at this point, whatever her name is, I think it's Margaret or whoever it is, they're like looking at a picture, and it's him with someone. I can't remember. I was like, it was really hard to understand what he was saying. It's like only job he's held for longer. He talks about how
he's
like,
Navy.
had 6.
Yep.
Yeah, he's had like 6 jobs in the last year, which sounds familiar to me. And he said the only job he's ever held was in the Navy for like however long it was. He was in the Navy during World War II with 11 months. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It starts getting worse as he goes along. First, his job, he loses his job. And then he's like walking out to his car, and he has a box like up to here, so he can't see anything. He's like reaching for the car, and all of a sudden Nan Adams hooks to his 1924 Rickenbacker and drives that thing into. See, this is what you were talking about, Jacob, last week when you think she's changed for a different purpose. She's now just wrecking people's lives. She's not killing people anymore. She's just wrecking vehicles and doing whatever she's
toying with them. She's toying
So-
with them to come back and put them out of their misery later.
Is she just like an agent of chaos?
Yes.
Apparently,
She
at this
is
point,
Yeah, I agree.
carnage and chaos,
I'm
death
still-
incarnate.
I'm still trying to figure out, like they talk about later how like when the car backs up, it hooks onto his bumper and then takes off. I'm still trying to figure out how that's possible.
How is that his fault? That's what I
well,
wanna get.
the best part about that is when he runs, he runs over to the police officer, and like the police officer's like, he's like, this is my car, blah 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 blah, and whatnot. And he's like, the police officer's like really nice to him, and all of a sudden he's like, Mr. Beavis is like, do you need a 24 Rickenbacker?
Oh, I love that joke. That was so funny. I laughed my ass
He's
off
like-
at that.
The officer is like, no, but I've been looking at a 27 Oldsmobile, and I'm thinking about this. I'm like, when does this episode take place? Does it take place in the
No.
20s?
It
But why do
takes
they look-
place modern day. He's being facetious.
Yeah, he's being a
He's
Oh,
like,
that
no,
went-
I'm looking at a 27. No, it's okay. But yeah, he's basically being sarcastic in response to him saying that he wants like, do you want this crap automobile? And he's like, nope, I got my eye on a different crap automobile.
That's funny.
who was that cop too? He's somebody. He looks
It's,
real familiar. I didn't
William
look at-
Schallert. He's the guy, like I said, that was in Twilight Zone, and he was
He was his dad in the Twilight Zone movie.
yeah,
Yeah, he was.
he was in Inner Space. I can't remember who he played in Inner Space, but he was in that.
I think he was the scientist who got that was a younger guy. I don't
He's
know.
been in a lot of shit. He's been
Yeah,
in,
he's
like,
in a lot of stuff.
yeah, Riot in Cell Block 11, whatever that is. Okay, yeah, that, like I said, that went over my head. I was like thinking, I'm like, is this take place in the 20s when he's talking about World War II? I'm like, I was really confused.
No, you're
but-
all good.
So of course, Mr. Beavis finally makes it home to his apartment. And he sees a bunch of shit on the curb, and I'm like, he doesn't recognize his own shit on the curb, and then I guess it doesn't dawn on him until he goes up to the steps and he sees more of his shit. He's like, "Hi, blah blah blah. I'm going up to my apartment." Then he stops. He's like, "Oh wait." And she's like, "Yeah, you've been." She's like, "You're being evicted." He's 6 weeks in the rear. Is it for late rent or something like that? So he's like 6 weeks behind on rent, which I guess is they're doing weekly rent instead of monthly rent. Maybe that was a thing back in the 50s and 60s.
That happened pretty often.
Different
actually.
time.
Yeah.
But this is where go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the lexicon thing I had was 6 weeks in your rears.
Mm.
I've never heard that before.
6 weeks in your rears.
Yeah.
Or a lot of things in your rears, but
6 weeks is not one of them.
6 weeks in your rears. It's a lot of time.
Yes, it is.
Right. But this is when things really start taking a turn for where I started really kind of not liking the episode. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the episode to begin with, but he goes to the bar and he's like 5 gigantic shots of whatever he's taking. Even the bartender like sniffs the glass after the act break and stuff like that, and it's just like it starts to become like pretty crazy. But then we get the usual mirror shot where basically he sees a man in the mirror, not Michael Jackson, but he sees a man in the mirror, and he looks over and the guy's Can you imagine Beavis singing Man in the Mirror?
Man in the mirror.
I'm asking him to like change his ways. Yeah.
Change your damn ways,
Yeah.
asshole.
But
One
Look
real-
at him. Staring at me like I'm hot. Oh, yeah. What you doing?
One kind of fun thing, like through this middle part, they do this weird kind of grammar thing about like the bartender refers to his shots as using them instead of those. So he kind of turns into a grammar guy, and then
Playing
they
a
pull
pronoun
the-
game.
Yep, and then they do the who versus whom.
okay, so
Whip it good.
Beavis is now drunk, of course. He looks in the mirror and sees a man. I'm repeating this because this is an edit point.
That's
He
okay.
looks over, he sees a guy waving, and the guy, when he looks back at the seat, because he looks in the mirror, because that's like a thing in the Twilight Zone with mirrors and stuff like that. He looks back, of course, Beavis the guy's not sitting there. And then this is when the bartender just kind of looks at him funny. He's like, This drink is fortified with atomic energy, and I love some of the stuff that he says in this segment. But when he walks over, he sits down, and that's when we're introduced to Hempstead, who's played by Henry Jones, who of course is Beavis's guardian angel. End of act. And so at this point, I'm just gonna come out and say, which I probably already said 1,000 times, I still not enjoyed this episode at this point, but I will let you guys try to convince me if you guys both liked it. I know Triv, you liked it. I'm not sure about Jacob, but what did you guys think of the first act?
I thoroughly enjoyed this, but just like it's slapsticky and it's goofy, and I just like it has. I will have criticisms come the end of the episode, but I don't know. It feels something very of that era. Like I don't know, but it just like it's a guy that just kind of does his own thing, beats, I don't know. Just I don't mind it. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah, you said it's when it's like a Lucille Ball episode. I'm like, but I like Lucille Ball. I didn't like.
But
this
it's
episode.
that same kind of feel of like, you kind of get the slapsticky humor. You've got the kind of like there is a certain level of clever wordplay that you could also say is cringe to some extent, but it's still fun. And I don't know, like there's a lot of just
chocolate in his mouth.
Yeah,
that's what made this episode better. Chocolate in the mouth.
Well, chocolate makes everything better, duh. Not everything can be chocolate. But I've said my piece. Sorry.
I up to this point, I enjoyed the episode. I didn't think, oh my god, this is the most monumental episode ever. But I was like, yeah, I like this. I like the character. He really made it. I like the character of Beavis. I like the way that he was played, and I like he's really likable. And he's just kind of like a free living, loving life kind of guy. He's kind of oblivious to all the other negativity around him. Like, and of course he's aware of it to a degree, but he seems like somebody who chooses to focus on the good things in life and, the good stuff that's right in front of him. And especially nowadays, man, I ain't gonna lie, that's nice to see sometimes, because you don't see that a lot. And it's nice to see somebody who's just kind of like loving life and just having a good time with, obviously his life's not perfect and he's got a lot of issues, but he's still having a good time with it, making oranges or lemonade out of lemons or whatever all the time. And that feels pretty good to see that sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, for this first half of the episode, at least.
I would also say, and maybe obviously, there's more to say later once we get to the end of the episode, but like, he seems like he's been through it. So, he gets fired. Like, it's obviously like a lot, losing your car, your job, and your house all in the same day, but he seems to roll with the punches. Yeah. It's either that or maybe he's just oblivious to it. They never really say one way or the other, but
I think he rolls with it. I think he's used to it.
Yeah, like especially like maybe not so much the house thing, but like the job thing. Even when he's drunk off his ass, he never sits there and bemoans, the woe is me. Like, I expected, it's been a hot minute since I've seen this. I kind of was like, okay, the normal trope is that, you sit there and, you bemoan how bad life is and all that stuff. And he didn't do that. Obviously he's down and out, but it's not like he was like committing, gonna commit suicide because his life turned to shit.
This episode was a whole lot more lighthearted than the episodes we've gotten in quite a while.
Yeah.
We haven't really gotten a lighthearted episode in a while, and that was nice, just kind of a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I agree.
Not so heavy.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's
so far.
I get that. It doesn't make me like hate this episode, but when you get past the act break, and we'll talk about that in a second, I just feel like the second half was trying to write a story that they didn't really have any idea where they wanted to take it. So they brought a character in, which the first act, if it was fine, they kind of positioned it differently. But when you get into the second act and it's everything that Beavis doesn't want, it just doesn't make for a very good second half, or it just doesn't make for a very good story. It feels like they're just bringing a guy in to allow Beavis to see the Christmas story, what if situation, or Christmas Carol. And that's where my problems lie. And I know Triv, you said something about having issues with the second half, but I feel like this episode is a tale of two stories, or tale of two acts, and the first one's a little bit better than definitely the second one. And that's where, like I said, my problems come into the mix. But I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't know if,
and
I don't know if you guys have anything else to say.
We'll talk through it, and we'll say our piece, and
we'll work through this thing together.
Yeah, exactly. We're here for each other. And Beavis is here for us too.
Always.
Yes.
You're my boy, Blue.
I'm here for you.
Beavis is literally wearing a blue shirt, so he's my boy, Blue. My boy, Blue.
All you need to do is provide him TV for his bunghole, and he's got your back.
Oh,
your backside. He's got your backside.
Yeah, exactly.
And all he needs is a tool shed, so he can go whacking in the tool shed. You know.
That wasn't me.
So after the act break, Mr. Beavis is introduces the bartender to Hempstead, but he's not there. I like the kind of how Hempstead just disappears when the bartender comes up, but when he comes back or when he leaves, Hempstead comes back, and I like when the bartender sips a glass and he says "Happy Thanksgiving."
That is good.
This is where we get this stuff is all right. This stuff where he explains, Hempstead explains, here's what we are. You did one of your ancestors did something like, found TP for the bunghole or something like that. and of course he starts explaining all these generations of Beavises. That sounds really weird, actually.
I didn't realize Beavis actually scored. It just doesn't seem like he was the kind that would.
Magellan Beavis.
Yeah, exactly.
This Mr. Beavis squirreled. He's like, squirrel. He's a squirrel.
Basically, yeah, exactly.
Right. But he explains all his ancestors and how this guardian angel of Hempstead was always with them, and it's cool. We get a little bit of back history, which you don't ever get back history for the most part in like a character. It's usually like, here's a man, he's going to be flash forward to the future, or he's going to flash forward to the past or something like that, and that stuff was fine. But then he's like, I think Beavis starts complaining about like his lot in life or whatever, and that's when Hempstead,
I don't remember him complaining about it,
or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I think he's complaining, but Hempstead basically allows him the opportunity to repeat the day over because after everything's said and done. But I
missed that part.
No, I'm pretty sure Hempstead said that you come from a line of great men. Let me show you what it would be like. Let's have you live this life over. Beavis never said anything really, or nothing I remember.
Maybe it was when he was complaining to the bartender. He did a little bit of complaining. I think maybe it was to the bartender or something like that. He was talking about how.
I don't think it was outside the realm of normality given everything that had happened. I piss and moan about a video not doing well. It's just, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't think the level of his complaining does not match the level of what he went through, however you want to play that. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to start really complaining. Hempstead offers Mr. Beavis the ability to repeat the next day, but he gives him a suit, which I did like. He called it the Undertaker suit, which I thought was kind of funny. He offers the car, a new car, all this stuff to like give Beavis like the ultimate win, or I guess you could say, instead of being the ultimate loser. And I don't necessarily think this works in a storytelling aspect, just on the simple fact of Mr. Beavis is already happy at what he is. Why does he need to be shown something that he never wanted to be? And this is where I feel like Serling and his writing staff and production staff are just like, I don't know, give him something that really down and out Santa Claus or something like that would see with a perfect Christmas or something like that. But
well, that's the point of it. That's the point of the whole thing, is that he's already happy with what he's got, and everybody's always wanting more and more and wanting something to make them happy. And even though he's having a shit run of it, he's not unhappy. I mean, yeah, he doesn't want to be unemployed. He doesn't want to be homeless, but he's happy with life. He's not unhappy. And when this guy comes and offers him all this stuff that everybody else would want, like the new car, the new job and all that, that's not what he wants. He wants to run in the street with the kids and play ball for a few minutes and have the fruit and live that carefree life. And and go to a job, but stay there and just listen to his Zephyr music and his play with his stuffed animals. I mean, he's got everything he wants. Yeah.
At one point, Hempstead says, like, after, and I guess maybe I'm jumping ahead. Do you want to talk through the different things he goes through?
Well, no, I mean, you can say what you want. I mean, I don't care.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say,
come on, Beavis, say what you want.
At one point, like, they get out of the work and he's talking about how, he's just like, well, it's not really my thing. And Hempstead says to him in an exasperated tone, "What do you want?" And it feels like a question that he never asked to start with. But I think it's like when you see someone in a state like, oh well, let me do this for you, let me up your game, and it's nothing that they asked for, but it does show that you can be happy doing what you do.
Yeah.
Like it's just it was never a question for him.
Well, they want him to be something he's not. They want him to live this life like everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not who he is. He's like, that's not me. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is live the great life I've been living. I mean, you may not think it's great, and yeah, I keep losing my job and all that, but I'm super happy. So I want to keep doing that.
And it's a matter of tonal changes too. Like all of his ancestors were so like monumental and stuff, and he's not that person despite being in that line. Like that understanding of expectations that gets brought down on people, and I'm sure that was something that was talked about there too.
But doesn't that what was that word, laying the problem or whatever you want to call it, with the situation of we have this guy, and obviously Hempstead's apparently has been with generations of Beavises and stuff like that, and here is a guy he runs into. I guess he's just assuming this is what he wants. Beavis at this point is really drunk anyways, but it's wherein lies the problem. Like, why would he even go to this resort? Why would he do this of the situation of give him all this stuff when clearly he sees that this guy is happy? It feels like a storytelling element that they wanted to put in there to allow this character of Hempstead to even exist in this universe. And I don't know. I feel like this Hempstead character, this guardian angel, would have looked at, you watch Wonderful Life and you watch Clarence, and the guy's been watching him through his whole entire life. And I don't know, that's where, like I said, wherein lies the problem with me, is just this idea of this guy giving stuff that he doesn't want. And maybe it's just, Hempstead being clueless and thinking, oh, you have all these past ancestors and stuff like that. That's where I lie. So
all right, think about this. Okay, think about and not even take it from today's standards. A last name. So you associate a last name with someone, regardless of what that person is. You can wear like rose-colored glasses or whatever kind of glasses and not be able to see them for what they are beyond their last name. So Rockefeller, whatever, Bush, name any famous last name. You automatically assume that every single one of those people follows that same trend. And I think you could say that about this too. Every single person that he mentioned before them was a man of note. And that's not who this Bevis is. And I think
he even says that. That's not me.
Exactly. And I think that,
and the angel even says, I'm used to your ancestors all like having big dreams and wanting to do all this stuff. And he's like, I don't have that. I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's super easy to overlook, like, you can be sitting with anyone and they can, they can say something 5 different ways. And it's easy when you're in that mindset of, I know what's best for this person. They don't know what's best for them. I think, and that's that the angel definitely kind of had that whole idea of, I know what's best for you. I know how to get you to where you need to be. This is what you need.
This actually reminds me a little bit of how Hollywood is interpreted, where you have a particular individual who has to keep up appearances, and if they're a different type of individual, Hollywood looks down upon them and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of maybe a little bit, but I don't know. It's just really difficult to wrap my head around a guardian angel that seems to not have any compensate or any logic when he does what he does. But that's gonna end up just being me. But
no, and that's 100% okay. I mean,
yeah,
we all interpret this a little different, and that's one thing about Twilight Zone, and we've talked about it numerous times. There are multiple ways to interpret every one of these episodes. Well, there's a couple that are pretty straightforward, but by and large, you can take from these episodes what you bring in too. I mean, your own experiences, the things that you've been surrounded by, your own interpretations of life. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I told you guys this. I went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, and when Marvel's not doing the multiverse, I think it actually is better. For instance, this episode, and of course the other movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, the multiverse. This is a multiverse episode where it basically shows him in a different light. So, for instance, he gets a new car, he gets a new suit, which he calls the Undertaker suit, and then he walks out of his apartment, and the dog doesn't I think the dog growls at him or something like that when he tries to pick him up or something like that, and then the hot attractive lady doesn't even really talk to him. She just says good morning or something like that. What's that? Yeah.
He was like, hi.
One kind of fun real quick thing, and it's 100% random, and I think it was supposed to be there, or I think it was intentional. When they go to the top of the stairs where like where he previously slid down the banister, the guardian angel kind of stops and look at the banister and kind of runs his hand across it.
Yeah, like
so there is that. Yeah, so there is that moment of like, oh well, maybe I should try this. Like, oh, he must enjoy doing this or whatever. So
yeah, he's like that father or whatever is like, you can't go down the stairs anymore like that. And, he decided he's going to do it himself because he's a 16-year-old in a angel guardian's body or something like that.
Exactly.
He unfortunately doesn't fall out the stairs, and he sees the old lady who's actually extremely happy because he's like 3 weeks ahead of rent. So that's a good
there's
thing.
Something I missed here, and you said it a minute ago, and I didn't notice it until he got to his work and like he started going through the day. He's repeating the same day? Yeah. I didn't realize that while I was watching it. Somehow I missed him say you can repeat the day. I thought he was just going back out into the world with better luck now. So like when he got back to work and he's like, where's all my stuff on my desk? I was like, you cleared it the fuck off. And then he was like, and all this other stuff he was going on about it. I was like, what is this guy's deal? He just did all this, but okay. So that makes sense. I don't know. Did they say that? Did he say you're going to repeat the day?
Yeah. Hempstead's like, I'm going to give you a chance to repeat the day, but in this new form, I guess you could say.
Oh, okay.
So that's when he gives him the suit.
I mean, I knew that I remember him getting the suit and all that. I guess I missed the repeating of the day thing.
He tries to play, a little bit of ball with the kids. They don't respond to him. It's almost like he's like dead or something like that. And they're just kind of walking through the day. It's a Christmas Carol, basically.
You mean It's a Wonderful Life?
Sure. We'll go with that too.
Okay. I like this part of it because this is when the guardian angel was like, no, that's old Bevis. Mm-hmm. New Bevis doesn't do that. And you could tell he's just like, damn, you're taking all the fun out of my life. And like, I knew where the episode was going at that point. And like, he's just everything this guy wants to do, everything this guy finds joy in. It's like, this guy's like, no, you can't do that. He's almost like the guardian angel is the establishment. He is growing up in the traditional sense. He's the man. And like Mr. Bevis is like, no, but I don't conform to that. I want to live my life this way. I want to have a good time. I enjoy doing this. I don't give a shit if I'm supposed to, or if they say I'm supposed to. And he's like, oh, no, don't do that. That's not what we do. You're being bad, Bevis. And I like that. I like that part of it where he just kind of like, he kept on getting shot down and he was like, shit.
He's a freeloader too, because he always gets free fruit, and the guy's like, fuck you. You ain't getting free shit.
Bananas.
No banana for you.
I know, right? He just shouts bananas as he's walking away. Like, I'm like, I know you're trying to be health conscious in a world that it wasn't health conscious back in the day, but give the guy a poor piece of fruit. Yeah. Mr. Beavis needs something nice in his life.
Bananas.
He needs a banana
buddy,
for his
bananas. I said bananas.
Bananas to you too, sir. Good day to you, sir.
Banana.
He needs bananas for his bunghole.
Oh.
Banana for the tailpipe.
Oh.
I am banana corn or banana Julio.
Cornholio.
But he's given a new car, and the car is an Austin Healey, which is a awesome looking car. If you go to the page, is like,
it is pretty.
That's some James Bond shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would be an Aston Martin if it was James Bond. But still, whatever.
That's okay. But it looked like a James
Bond-esque car. Yeah.
Yes. It's
nice
slick
car.
As hell.
It's a beautiful car. Mm-hmm. It's a gorgeous car.
Yeah.
It's a car.
It's bootylicious.
And I didn't know how to drive it or something too, didn't he?
He went not at first. Somehow he put it in reverse.
Yes.
Which I mean, in a stick shift is all the way over here, and either up or down, depending on how many gears it is. So how he ended up there, I don't know, but whatever.
It's Bevis. What else do you need to know?
I rammed it all on one side and like, put it in the back. Yeah.
Again, banana for his bunghole.
Banana for my bunghole.
But Mr. Bevis goes to his place of work, and nobody really says hi to him, and he just kind of walks up to his desk. He's like, "What's wrong with my desk? Where's my stuff at? Where's my trinkets? Where's my boat?"
Squirrel.
And they all look at, where's the squirrel? Squirrel.
Dude, that clock that was on there previously, that was a creepy ass clock, but I love it.
With the eyes, looked like an Angel Mama clock with like some eyes like looking out like that.
Oh yeah.
I loved it.
Oh man, so
Beavis in clock form.
Exactly. But he gets called, or Mr. Peckinpah comes out, and he instead of berating him, he actually gives him $10 raise, which today's form and factor is what, $94, if I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was something like
Yeah.
$4,000 a year or something.
Right.
By modern standards.
Man, I could use $4,000 extra a year.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
Not gonna say no.
But at this point, this is when Beavis kind of walks back out of the office and talks to Hempstead. He's like, I don't want any of this. I want to be back to my old self. He's like, but you have all this good stuff. He's like, I like who I was. And then Hempstead makes Beavis, of course, back into his old self, and actually like moves time backwards again so that Beavis can get yelled at again, so he can go down and drink 5 shots of whiskey or whatever he's drinking. But he's much happier. He got yelled at. He's lost his job. He's like joyfully drinking his shots, and of course he gives the bartender a 5, which I'm sure is like $80 now in tip money. And he walks out, and of course he sees the car. He sees Nan Adams taking the car outside the window, this whatever story building they're in, and the car is taken away and crashes and stuff like that. And then he walks out, a happy man with his box and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny when you think about it, because he's like, Hempstead, are you still there? And Hempstead says, yeah. And he actually gives him a new car, or gives him back his like Rickenbacker, but it's in front of a fire hydrant, which is okay, sure. And the police officer comes over. He's like, I'm gonna write you a ticket. He's like, I don't care. I'm Mr. Beavis. I'm happy. Give me my ticket. and then all of a sudden the fire hydrant disappears, thanks to Hempstead. Actually moves in front of what's his face, the police officer's vehicle. And of course, when Beavis gets in the vehicle, he actually backs into the police car. And I think the fire hydrant goes off or something like that. It sprays water on the.
No, he sprays his exhaust all over him with that Marta nightmare.
Oh
yeah, no doubt.
Driving around.
But this is when Beavis says, are you still with me? And that's when Hempstead says yes. And then of course he drives off, and that's kind of the end of the episode, if I have that correct. Am I missing anything?
Well, there's the shot kind of pans up, and there's the Ben-Hur on the side of the marquee.
Oh yeah.
But that's a small thing. Theater. Yeah, because at one point the Hempstead talks about how he helped Ben-Hur to win the chariot race and stuff.
Right. When did Ben-Hur come out? Actually, Ben-Hur just come out. Yeah, 1959.
59 or 56? 59. One of my favorite movies ever made.
Oh yeah, very good movie.
Amazing movie.
I will not tell a lie. I've never seen Ben-Hur.
What the fuck?
That's okay.
Ben-Hur is an amazing movie and has one of the best scenes and shots of any movie ever. I love it.
So that's the end of the episode. That's the end of Mr. Beavis. Beavis and Butthead have gone into the world that is the Twilight Zone. And so after the second act and where it heads, I know pretty much gathered you guys kind of both liked it, but what was your overall thoughts? Anything you want to contribute that I didn't talk about? All that good stuff. And whoever wants to go.
I think the only thing I've got is I like at the end that Hempstead managed to shift his worldview a bit. And it feels like there was just as much a change for Hempstead as there was kind of a reinforcement of things for Beavis. So there was some good lessons learned.
I did like this episode. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think it's top 10 or anything, but I like the message of this episode. I liked the feel, the tone, especially like I mentioned earlier, after all the heavy stuff we've had, we get like this lighthearted, just feel good episode. And I liked its overall message was, just because, I could say this for a person that has been out in the adult world for 20 some odd years now. You go into the world and you have this view of what you're supposed to do. And everybody tells you you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to be this way. You're supposed to be that way. And that's kind of what I saw the guardian angel as. He was kind of like, hey, this is what you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to make you happy. You're supposed to have all these things. This is what the new Beavis does. But Mr. Beavis didn't want to do that. That's not what made him happy. He was the most in tune person in the world at that point. He knew what he wanted, and he didn't care if it fit in everybody else's view or their little box that they said that they say you're supposed to do. He was happy being this disheveled, disorganized mess of a man because he got to go outside and, you know, run around with the kids for a few minutes and play and have some fruit and just, yeah, he goes through job after job after job, but, you know, he meets really cool people there and he has a great time with those people. And he's just living his life, having a great time. And is that the most productive thing in the world? No, but the guy is happy. And that's what makes him happy. He's not happy with all this other bullshit and he's making it happen. So I'm like, hell yeah, man. I like that message that he gave all we say he gave up all that stuff, all this cool stuff, but he didn't see it as giving it up because he was like, I never wanted that. I can't give something up that I never wanted.
Exactly.
So he looks at it as I got back my happiness and what I really wanted.
One thing I would add too is like it's a well balanced, like Beavis is a relatively, like, for as eccentric as he is, and I'm sure at the time people probably had a connection over, oh, zither music and stuffed animals and all that, and regarded, yes, it's an eclectic mix of stuff, but they didn't write him as an extremely wacky character. He still, you know, did the job. You know, he went out and was going to look for something more. He wasn't like the, you know, I suppose what you would consider an extreme hippie, where it's like, you know, screw all the systems, I'm not going to be part of any of it. You know, he was balanced enough, and he understood that he needed to have a job to have a place to live and all that stuff. But he just did it his own way. Yeah, exactly.
He enjoyed the work he did. He just, and if you look, I mean, I guess they said that, you know, he wasn't the greatest at the job he did, but I mean, he was at least competent-ish at it. They just didn't like some of his other things he did. His, you know, Zephyr music.
Exactly.
and his squirrels. And I mean, the guy was happy. And I like the fact that other people lose their job and they're fucking miserable. He lost his job and he was like, oh, that sucks. But, you know, he's always upbeat.
Yep. And he's been there, done that, has the t-shirt. So he understands that, you know, there's other jobs.
Yeah. He knows that, hey, a job is a job. I can get another one. It's not the end of the world. I still got life and all these beautiful things out here and this great life to live in. And it's nice to see somebody like that sometimes, you know, just see somebody who's just happy to be alive and be living in the world that they're in.
Now, one thing I will say, and I guess it's one of the things that I think I overthought bits of this. So when we got to the end, like, he didn't seem like, you know, he lost his job and he was unaffected. It was a little, that level of unaffected was kind of odd for me. Like, I kind of sat there and thought through, okay, even if you're upbeat and you know that you can find another job, I would still like freak out because, you know, everything is gone.
Yeah.
Or even like, I guess on a scripting level, and on this side, I think I'm a little bit with Nick. There was no change. Like, there was, you know, there's outer changes, but no internal changes. It's not like we saw a Beavis in another universe run across, you know, a squirrel or whatever and be like, oh wow, this is kind of cool. Like, to kind of bring about that change. He was always what he was, and that was, as we've talked here, I think I kind of got that worked through in my head, but it was one of those things that while I was watching it came up in mind.
Well, yeah, and once again, it's a 24-minute episode.
Absolutely.
There's only so much depth we can get on these characters in that time.
No, absolutely. And they did a great job with it. It was one of those things where it was kind of he was, like you said, I mean, his base was happy. His core was built to be happy regardless of what happened. So
yeah.
I want to be there with you guys. I can't, like, it okay. Feels like the reason I say that is it feels like an episode once again where we've already have a character. He's already established. He's already what he is. And I just feel like they came in and they tried to force feed a story of, you know, what it is for a guy to show something that he doesn't even care about. So that's where my disconnect is always going to be with this episode, just on that simple fact of, okay, so you bring in a guardian angel, you know, that's what, and I know, Jacob, you said it's only 24 minutes, but it's an episode where I feel like you can go down the route where you can have like a Christmas Carol or It's a Wonderful Life, where this guy gets a little bit upset, but he doesn't ever get upset. He gets more upset at the fact of what Hempstead is doing to, at least I feel like what Hempstead has done to him. And I just don't feel like that's great storytelling writing. It doesn't take it from the fact that it's not a terrible episode. It just doesn't take, it takes from the fact that I never really bought the need of any reason for Mr. Beavis to even have this type of episode. Like, that's why I was telling Trip before you came on, Jacob, earlier tonight. I'm like, this would never have worked at all as a pilot for a TV show, because not really any conflict with this character. It's just a guy who had a little bit of bad luck, you know. I mean, I guess conflict could be that he lost his job and house and stuff like that, but it doesn't get him down. It compels him to move forward.
I don't think the conflict is supposed to be with him. I think the conflict is supposed to be with us and with the guardian angel.
Yeah.
Conflict is that, look at this mess of a man. Oh, let's get him all fixed. Let's give him what he needs, what we say he needs, what everybody says he needs, what he thinks he needs, what we think he needs, what the world thinks he needs. But then we find out, no, that's not what he needs. What this guy needs is just to be himself. And that's what makes him happy. Who are we to say what he needs in this crazy world right here?
So basically,
to some extent,
I was gonna say, basically what you're saying is, it's us when we look at somebody who, for instance, we see a person who's happy being on YouTube, being like, really annoying and crazy and over the top, and we want to change him to make him more level, but we just realize in the end they are who they are, I guess.
Yeah, let them be them. They're being them. Let them be themselves. That's what makes them happy. Who are we to tell them they're wrong? Who are we to tell them, hey, you're doing that wrong? No, you're not. They're doing them. Mr. Beavis is being Mr. Beavis.
Yeah.
Let Beavis.
You never saw Beavis and Butthead upset.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's always trying to score.
Yes, exactly.
They stole our TV. That sucks.
You gotta see the positive in life, Nick. Look into Jeff's eye.
Exactly.
Just look into Jeff's eye.
I can't pull my shirt over like that. Okay.
I was gonna randomly add before we were graced by the presence of Cornholio. Look at the times. Okay, so 1960. You're coming out of the height of the American dream. 2.5 kids. Little house with the lawn and all that shit, and
nuclear family.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got the 60s, which I'm sure there were probably hippies in the 50s too. There would have had to have been, but anything
I don't know
that
if he's really a hippie. He's more of a
no. I'm not saying goofy. Right. But it's in that realm of something that's alternative to what is that kind of nuclear family. And I don't know if Rod Serling was writing with that in mind at all, or just that general person. But you're talking about an age of extreme change. And I mean, whether it had started at that point or whether it was on the horizon or whatever, it still was there. And I don't know if he was acknowledging that or just focusing on, expectations of people in general, but I think you could definitely draw from that.
I think Serling absolutely knew what he was doing when he wrote this. And he was absolutely trying to tell everybody, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, calm your tits.
Let people be who they're going to be. And, sometimes these people that are just happy being alive and happy being there, that's okay. Maybe you could learn something from them. Maybe you could, do you have to go to that extreme? No, but maybe you could learn a little something from these people and be happy yourself. I mean, you could look at the closing narration. It's right there. He talks about the magic of a child's smile and the magic of liking and being liked, the strange and wondrous mysticism that is a simple act of living. I think that was his whole thing behind writing this episode, because he did write this episode, was just saying, it's okay to be different as long as you're you. Just be you and be happy, Nick.
I do have things to say. No, not really. I mean, that's good.
If you do, have at it.
No, actually, I'm joking. I actually don't. All I know is I need Mr. Beavis to close out with the closing narration. But yeah, I mean, I see your points. I do see your points, and
yay!
We'll see how it plays out in the Twilight Zone list. But hey, Beavis, can you hook us up with the closing narration?
Yep, the closing narration. I'm sure something can be worked out there.
yeah, Mr. James B.W. Beavis, who believes in all magic all his own, the magic of a child's smile, the magic of liking and being liked, the strange and wondrous mysticism that is a simple act of living. Mr. James B.W. Beavis, species of 20th century male who has his own private special Twilight Zone. I don't know why I become like drunk Beavis when I do that. Beavis are trying to be Beavis. Beavis does not talk like that, but I start reading stuff and talking like Beavis, it becomes drunk Beavis.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. So that is our lengthy discussion on Mr. Beavis. Which is season 1, episode 33. Guys, we're almost near the end, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Wow.
Let's actually do the Twilight Zone list, the ranking list that is perfect list that will never be finalized. Or this is the most perfect list of all time. So number 33, Mr. Beavis, right?
No.
Underneath
son
the
of a
fever.
bitch.
Stupid! So stupid. No, I'm kidding.
You son of a bitch. Okay, so me personally, I put it between 20 and 30, but talk to me, people.
Number 2.
There you go.
No,
I could really fuck with Nick and put it up at number 1.
Yeah.
And I would kick you off this show faster than you can say, "You so stupid."
Stupid.
Totally worth it.
I liked this one. Let me see. I liked it more than Elegy.
Poor Elegy.
Passage for Trumpet. That's what, ooh, man, that had that finger looking good trumpet playing.
Yeah. Well, this had some finger licking good shipbuilding.
Yeah.
And a squirrel.
I did. What do you think, Trev? Where are you leaning towards?
So nobody thinks below Big Tall Wish?
Below
No. Honestly, I don't know why, but my brain kind of puts it right at the Chaser. And I don't have any specific reasons for that. It just seems like
kind of corny too.
Yeah, I think that's maybe why. It kind of follows that same feel. I mean, I think it's worthy to go a little higher, but that kind of feels like a good middle ground for this, because I did have some issues with it, but this is one that I would definitely watch again when I need to feel up, or to just,
I don't think it was better than What You Need.
No.
I did enjoy it more than Elegy. Execution's a weird one for me. I like that episode, but there was some choices made in that.
Yeah.
Editing and just structural choices in that thing that seemed off to me, but whatever.
You just liked dictaphone.
I love the dictaphone. Love the shit out of dictaphone. And it came from that.
Yes, it did. It's like saying titty, it always makes you smile.
Titty caca. I'm somewhere between 16, 17, 18. I'm right in there.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too.
But Nick's down in 20 below.
You know where I would put this? I put this below Escape Clause and above The Last Flight. That's just me though. But you did make a valid point about the Chaser being this episode. I think was less goofy than the Chaser.
Yeah, it had more heart.
I mean, if my personal list, I would actually put this probably in the Escape Clause area, but
no, and that's valid too. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, we're not that far off in the grand scheme of it. I mean, where does the line fall for? It's not really until you get down to the late 20s where you kind of get into the ones that are kind of
I'm talking about 16. You're talking about 18. Nick's talking about 20. We can meet in the middle and say around 18.
How about this? How about we put it above the Chaser, below Elegy? Would that work?
Holy 18, shit, right? Man! You're giving that much leeway. Holy crap! We hit him.
I mean, if we're really gonna go that far, I'll put it down by 4 of Us Are Dying. But
right.
Oh no.
I like this one more than Perchance to Dream. So
I like this one better than the Monsters to Do on Maple Street. I kid. I'm kidding.
So I've invited Rob to come back on the show. No.
You are never gonna find another avatar that laughs as goofy as me.
No.
Yeah,
You guys are like the people I find in like the perfect spot. I can't get rid of you, but I will never get rid of you.
Oh, so we belong up at number 1 above
I didn't say
Monsters Are Doing Maple Street. Yeah, I'm good with. I think 18 is a good solid place for this. Is Jake gonna throw a wrench into shit?
No, I'm good. 18 works for me.
So-
But you can never get rid of Triv though, because I mean,
like a fucking virus, man.
where else are you gonna find somebody? Oh shit! I just totally killed my punchline.
So where's everybody goes on to the second page with the 3 crappy episodes that we've talked about in the past. That means everything from 19 on down moves down, and at number 18 is Mr. Bevis is in the middle ground at this point. So number 33 is of course The Fever, and number 1 is still Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. Yeah, so that is Mr. Bevis in a nutshell. And the next episode I think is a pretty darn good episode with a great ending. That is of course The After Hours, which is directed by Douglas Hayes, written by Rod Serling, stars Anne Francis, Elizabeth Allen, and James Milhoolin. It's a good episode. I think we'll all enjoy this one a lot, at least I hope. Hope it's not like a perchance to dream situation. That'll do it. That'll be our take on season 1, episode 33 of Mr. Bevis. Triv, who is choking to death with laughter. We'll go to her second. But Jacob, if they want to find your content, eventually where Red Sonja will be, where can they find your content at? One day.
You can find my content on YouTube at Jacob Anders Reviews and sometimes Jacob Anders Gaming. If I get to actually, I just released a video on there that I actually uploaded there like a month ago and forgot it was there. So I just put that out there. I forgot to post it. But anyway, I stream over there quite a bit, somewhat, and I do movie reviews on Jacob Anders Reviews. And Red Sonja, that's the sticking point from my comic book movie review series. I got stuck on that one and I just can't get past it, but I'm working on it. I'm hoping that will be out very soon so I can get over that hump and continue the weekly reviews of those. And other stuff. I guess by the time this comes out, I would have had the Doctor Strange Love 2 come out, and
Electric Boogaloo.
How I learned to stop worrying and love my ass.
Yeah, and that and probably some other stuff after that. I'll put that video out and it'll get 2 views. And yeah.
Sounds like you need me to stop. Triv, how you doing?
I'm not bleeding internally, I don't think, so that's good.
So if they want to watch you turn into a popcorn, or if they want to tell you that they do not like it, where can they find your content? When they get with a
you can find me. You can find
when
me.
They like it.
Yeah, hopefully. You can find me here on YouTube, Trivia Theater. I just released Evil Bong with as a collab with the Movie Oracle. Next up is a collab with a guy called Lanuski, and we're gonna be doing my first FMV full video. We're doing Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, so that should be an interesting experience. And yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good stuff.
Hopefully.
Some good steamy action.
Oh yeah, definitely. 2 cartoon avatars sitting there chatting about that, so it's gonna be amazing.
I just got to say, if you're wanting to delve more into the fantastical world of full motion video games, just hit me up. I got tons of them.
Oh, believe me, honey, your ass is smacked.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Nick, your ass is also smacked because I love you guys both. I love both of you.
FMVs,
bitches.
All right.
And where can they find your fucking awesome content, good sir?
You can find it in my hot steamy anus. Okay.
You're hot.
He's got 6 weeks in the rear.
He just dropped the cup and he just said, "Check out this hot steaming anus."
He also likes to keep 6 weeks in the rear.
Anyways, you can find my content on Movie Emporium. That's where these fifth dimension insane videos are held. I'll also have my Doctor Strange review, Doctor Strange in the multiverse of Uranus, I guess you could say. And I'll have this by the time this video posts. I'll also have this video posted as well. Probably something else, Marmaduke or some crap like that. So with that said, if you can also reach us on iTunes and Anchor and Amazon Music and Google Play, listen to our hot, sexy voices, Cornhub. So anyways, without further ado, for myself, Triv, and Jacob, and as well as Beavis and Butthead, we'll see you guys next time in the fifth dimension of the Twilight Zone. Peace out.
Bye. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Stupid! I saw stupid.
Stupid. Stupid. Yeah. Stupid.
Dumbass.